Hello, Daryl here. The channel is Programming in Any Language. The supporting website is www.black-duck.com. You'll find the videos and the PDFs of the code there in most cases. The video is dictionaries. Dictionaries are going to look pretty familiar. They look a lot like lists, list boxes, and arrays. In fact, that's practically what they are. There are a list of values, and each value has a key. Now that's the big difference. The keys must be unique for each value, but they can be integers, strings, and even doubles. And they don't need to follow an order, although an order might be desirable in many cases. After discussion on just what dictionaries are, we're going to look at an example. That example will be an application called Investment Display. The application reads in a file containing stock codes and the amount invested for those stocks. The stock codes and the investment amounts are loaded into a dictionary. At the same time, the stock codes are loaded into a drop-down box. When the program is run, the user can select any stock code in the drop-down box, and the corresponding investment amount will appear in a label. You can do this with an array, but the dictionaries take a lot of the thinking out of it. It becomes a very simple program to write. Let's take a look. We're going to look at dictionaries. A dictionary is an object that stores a collection of data. Each element has two parts, a key and a value. Each key is associated with a specific value, and the key is used to locate that value. These are called key-value pairs. It's kind of like an array, kind of like a list, kind of like a list box. You can see a lot of similarities when we look at that thing. It's kind of a black box approach when you get to it, because the dictionaries are going to control some things that you'd normally have to program if you're using an array or a list or something of that nature. This is going to make it a little bit easier to use. On the other hand, you don't know what's happening inside the thing. It's just working for you. Well, take a look at that. The dictionary class. The .NET framework provides a dictionary class that is used to implement a dictionary container. The general format to declare a dictionary object is the dictionary, the key type, value type, dname equals new dictionary, key type, value type. The key type basically is the data type for each element's key. So it can be an integer, it can be a string, it can be whatever you want it to be. The value type is the data type for each element's value. So the data you're trying to store in there can be any value, any data type as well. It can be an integer, it can be a string, typically a string in most cases. Dname then is the name of the dictionary, the name you're going to give the dictionary. Here's a good way to initialize it. Dictionary, int, string. We're putting an int for the key, an integer for the key, a string for the value type. We're going to call it employees, and we say new dictionary, int, string. And then right away we put things in it. 101 Chris Jones, 102 Jessica Smith, 103 Amanda Stevens, 104 Will Oswald. You don't have to do this here. Once you set it up, you can read a file, which we'll do later, and to actually implement and put values into the dictionary. When we want to add an element to a dictionary, the general format is dictionary name, key, equals value. Example, dictionary, int, string, employees equal new dictionary, int, string, employee 105 equal Beth Young, employee 106 equal Jake Young. Using the add method, which is I prefer this method right here. It's kind of like the list box. Then you're using the add, the dot add actually. Dictionary, int, string, employees equal new dictionary, int, string. So we're going to put an integer for the key, the string for the value. We say employees.add. We parentheses 105, that's the integer, Beth Young. So 105 is the key, Beth Young is going to be the name, the value going in there. Employee add 106, Jake Brown. So if I type in 105 or 106 for my key, the dictionary will automatically respond with Beth Young or Jake Brown, those particular pieces that are there. Retrieving values from dictionary, the general format is dictionary name key. To display the elements of the employee's dictionary shown on the previous slide, you can use the for loop. For int key equals 101, the key less than 105, key plus plus. That's assuming that your keys are in order in this case, and we put them in order in that case. You don't have to. Employee list box.items.add employees key. So what we're doing here is we're actually grabbing all of the values in the dictionary and putting them in a list box by going through one line at a time using the key, which happens to be a numerical sequence in this case, 101 to 105. Removing elements, employee.remove 105. So remove the value, which has the key 105. For example, Beth Young will be removed. And this is very identical to what we did with the list box, or list actually. Both actually list box and list both work this way. Retrieving values using the try get value method. This is an interesting little method here. The general format is dictionary name dot try get value key out target name. What's happening here is basically using dictionary name, the name of your dictionary, try get value. you're giving it a key, and if it finds that key, the target value is going to go into a variable that you declared. That's what the L parameter is doing. This method returns the true value if the element is found. Example code using employee dictionary from the previous slide goes like this. We're going to search for employee 104. If employee try to get value 104, out name. In other words, it's going to look for the key value of 104 in the dictionary, the employee dictionary. If it finds it, it's going to store the value in the variable called name. And then we're going to have a message box that's going to show a name if it's true. If it's false, message box is going to show employee 104 was not found. There's also a count on element at properties. The dictionary objects have a count property that is set to the number of elements in the dictionary. The count property is used with the element at property to iterate over elements in a dictionary using the for loop. General format is for I equals 0, I is less than employee count, I plus plus. So in other words, there's a counting property which knows how many items are actually in the dictionary at any given time, much like the list again. So we're going to get a key value pair element, var elements equals employee.element at I, and display the element list box items add element key plus space plus the element value. So in this way we can actually truck through the entire dictionary and in a list box put in the key value and the associated value with it and make them all display, basically using a numerical count. So it's actually keeping track of that. You don't really see that I at all, the index, so to speak, of that property, but it's there. It's one of those hidden little things that the dictionary takes care of. That we would normally handle if we were working with this in a list box or an array or something of that nature. Let's take a look and see what we can do with all this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little program that's going to take, in fact, what I did, I'm going to bring this up here. I've got a bunch of stocks here I pull up into a spreadsheet. It looks kind of like this. There is code, names of the stock, there's quantities, prices, market value, that kind of stuff. And I parsed this down. In fact, I extracted it so I'd have a CVS code thing coming out of here. Let me just get out of that and show you that thing real quickly. Here's our CVS code. So I converted the spreadsheet, the Excel spreadsheet, to a CVS to grab this kind of stuff, and that allowed me to actually pull it into a text box. So I would grab the code, and really what was the market value in the code is what I really wanted. So I extracted that information and put that into a stock data text box. So I've got Apple 15, 160, 150. I got these values sitting in here like this. And I ended it right here with Zoom 82, ZM 82. And that's what we use for our input to our program. We're going to read this input in, and then we're going to actually write a program that's going to store this stuff and allow us to use a drop-down box to make the use of a dictionary. How are we going to do that? Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab some things that I've actually created this before so we could kind of save some time on this, and I'm going to create my form. And I'm going to lay that all right in here. So basically what I've got here is I've got an investment display label. I'm going to go ahead and look at this. It's called label 3, so I'm not doing anything with it. I've got a stock code and an investment amount label as well, labels 1 and 2. This is my working stuff right here, my drop-down box, or combo box, calling a combo stock code. And there's nothing in it, as you can see in here. I did change the font on this thing so we can see it. There's a collection here of the items, and you can go into the collection. You'll find there's nothing there. We're gonna fill those through code to do that. We also had an invested amount area. This is nothing more than a label called LBL investment. And of course, we have an exit thing right here. So what's going to happen, this program is going to read in that text file we saw a little while ago, and it's going to put both elements, let's bring that up again. It's going to put both of these elements into our dictionary. This is going to be the key value. We're using a string for the key. And this will be the value of the data we're going to have. That's all we're going to do. It's going to pop into our dictionary. From that point on, we're also going to take this code here and load it into our stock code. So we've got these stock codes sitting in our combo box. It's going to allow us to drop down and click on any one of those at any given time. Once we do that, our change routine is going to allow us to interrogate the dictionary and find the invested amount and display it right here, very automatically. Very simple program to write when you get right down to it. So let's take a look and see how this is going to happen. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my code and set it up. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and click on the form, right? Because I'm going to have a form load in here as well. We're going to do form load is going to go ahead and bring in my data It's going to read my data in. But I also want to create my dictionary. I'm going to do my dictionary up here under the form. So right up here, I'm going to say dictionary, and I'm going to say it's going to be a string value, comma, a string key and a string value. So we've got the string right here. We also need to go ahead and give it a name, and that name is going to be stock values. And it's going to be equal to new dictionary string, just like that. So that sets up our dictionary. That's it. So the next thing I want to do is, well, let's go ahead and do our button exit right away and get that out of the way. And that will be a close form. This dot close. And that closes our form. Now, all we want to work with is the form load. The form load is going to do this for us. It's going to load in all the data we saw before right here. It's going to load in this data, which is a tab delimited file. So there's a tab in here. When we brought the CVS in, we brought it in as a tab delimited file. So we're going to have that. So we have to play with this thing a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and first of all put in our system IO. That'll give us the ability to be able to use files. And then we're going to go ahead in our form load here, and we're going to create a string called str full record. So when we get our data, we're going to be getting the key and the value coming in as a tab delimited record, so to speak, used to gather one line of data from our text file. We're going to put a try catch in here. Try, put in our braces, and underneath that we'll have a catch. Exception ex dot message. Put our semicolon on there. Display a system error. Don't expect any, but if the file's not there or something's not found, we want to know what it is. So that means this area right in here is going to do our work, and it's going to actually load our file. So we're going to go ahead in here. We're going to say we like to go ahead in the try, and we want to open a file first. So right inside this area here, we're going to say open a file. We're going to say stream reader rather, input stock file. That's going to be the name of our file. Then we're going to set up a character delimiter. Because we've got a tab file, we need to find out where that tab is. So we're going to say char, and we're going to set up a delim. We're going to call that delim braces, quote, T quote, and there's our delimiter. It should be backslash T. Yeah, backslash T. Got to have that in there as well. This is going to set up our delimiter. Once that's done, we can go ahead and read the file. So we're going to process the file. The first thing we need to do is open the file. So we're going to do that. So we'll simply say input stock file is equal to file.openText stock data.txt, which is what I'm calling this thing. So my file is going to be sitting in the backslash debug folder. So let's go out there and let's save this thing for what we've got so far here. And then we're going to go out to the file itself, and I'm going to bring this in so we can see we've got our demo program, so dictionary demo program sitting up here. And we're going to go into the file, into the bin debug, and here it is. This is where I want to put the particular file that I'm looking for. So let's go back out and find it. We've got it sitting right here. I'll grab the file, do a Control-C on it. Oops, I want to go back in. Go to my bin, debug, and place it here. That way it'll be found in this particular area. So I'm not going to use the open, let the user find it. It's going to be in part of this program as we put it in place. So it's going to be there. So now let's go ahead and get that guy. Once we've got it in place here, we now can use a while loop. I'm going to step down a little bit here and just go that we're going to have while input stock file dot end of stream is set equal to false. We're going to do something. There's our while loop. So while it's not end of stream, while we've got records in that file and we still have to read them, we're going to read them. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to say string str full record is going to be equal to that read line. So this is going to read one line. Read a line of data. Then I'm going to say string array tokens is equal to str full record split at the delim. So what it's going to do, it's going to set up an array of the two fields. The key and the value will be in this tokens array, and it'll be easy to access and grab. So we've got those things split out right here. So let's go ahead and make that comment. Parse out the two fields into string array called tokens. We don't really need this anymore. We'll put toolbox and go away. So we can kind of see the whole thing then. Next, we want to go ahead and stock value dot add tokens 0, tokens 1. This puts the two pieces into our dictionary, the stock values dictionary. Add the key and the value to the dictionary. We also want to go ahead and in this combo box we've got sitting here, we want to fill this. We want to fill this collection here with all of the keys. So we'll do that right here while we're reading the data right away. So cmb stockcode.items.add, and it'll be tokens tokens 0. That will add the key to the combo box. And what do we do? Well, our loop, when it gets done, we're going to close our file. Input stock file.close, and that's it. So that's it for our program. Almost it. File save all, run it, and we have it displayed. And if you look here, all of our load worked and brought in all of our keys into here. So the dictionary has been set up. It's got the key and the invested amount on here. Now I should be able to click on any one of these things and I should be able to put that invested amount in here. But I need to code the changed value, the changed event for this particular box. So I'm going to go ahead and click exit on this thing. And we're going to go into our form and we're going to double click on the stock code itself. That brings up our code for this combo of stock code selected index changed event. What do we want to do here? Well, we simply want to take this. We want to create a variable called double, D-O-U-B-L-E, and DBL stock value is equal to double.parse the stock value CMB stock code dot text convert string to double for formatting. Why am I doing this? Let's take a look. We're gonna take our, as soon as we click on that stock code, we're going to take that index, combo box stock code index, and we're going to grab the stock value. We're going to parse that value that's sitting out there because we're at the index. We're at the index right now. This is going to grab the stock code and take our stock value and convert that to a double. That's going to allow us, because remember, these are string values coming in. There's no dollar sign on it, no commas in here. We'd like to format that out as we get it. So we're going to need to convert this to a double and then bring it back to a string value. So the next line will simply be LBL investment.text equals double stock value to string. Now the only thing I need to put in here is let's convert it to currency. Format and display value. So that'll take our stock value and create a toString on it. We got our double stock value right here. It's a double here. Now we're going to convert it to a string. So we end up stock values comma. See what happened here in the parsing the stock value comma, by taking the stock code, we went to stock values, and by hitting the key, we automatically get the value and it gets put into the stock value area here. That's what you're seeing here. So we're looking at the key. And wherever the key is, it's going to know enough. The dictionary does this for us. It applies the double to stock. It applies the value to the double stock value right here. And of course, it parses it to a double. So we're getting it in there. Now, we might want to put something in here to read that in so we know we actually have a numeric coming in there. We're kind of going to trust that, though, that we got it in from our combo box. We have our conversion from our spreadsheet. So, but you want to put some tests in there. You could actually blow up if it ended up being a string value coming in. You're trying to convert this thing. But this should work. This is all we need to do. File save all. Run it. Here's our value. Bring it down here. Hit this one. $1,260.94. $13.50. $6,996.49. These are the investment displayed for these particular stocks, supposedly at a particular time when they were actually pulled from the value. This is in real time. It's not going to update or anything like that. This is good. This is going to be grabbing this stuff and making it available. But what the purpose of this thing was to show you the idea that you could have. Let's go ahead and bring this thing down a little bit so we can look at the dictionary. We can create a dictionary where we're with string and string values, bringing in the AMD and the amount in a string format and storing it into this dictionary, this stock values dictionary. And then this particular thing does it all for us. It goes and grabs that file and loads it. And this particular guy right down here, this line 37, command stock code items.add tokens, that fills this guy. So we've got all these things sitting here. Then we can use the stock codes index changed event that anytime we click on this stuff, it puts our value into the proper display and makes it right. So fairly simple process to actually make this thing work. Dictionaries are kind of powerful from that standpoint to make it very, very easy. Again, I can do this with an array. I can do this with lists, a whole bunch of things. This does make the work shorter. You don't have to put on all that code to write it. But while these things are great, I like to have control of my program, so I tend not to use these things all that often. I prefer to have the code written by me so that I know what's going into that box, that array, so to speak, and I can handle it there and control all the elements, all the aspects of it. But there is a purpose for this. We're going to see this when we work for databases. There's a whole bunch of tools you can use for databases that work just great, but sometimes they don't work. And if you use code to do it instead of the black boxes that Microsoft supplies, you'll be in better shape as a programmer, because if something goes wrong, you'll be able to go there and fix it. But this is it. This is dictionaries in a nutshell. So, not bad. I said before that you can do this with an array, and I prefer to do it with an array. The dictionaries are sort of a black box. You, the programmer, don't need to know how it's programmed. You just use a tool. And I get that. Personally, I like to write code where I know what's going on. Then, if something goes wrong, I can fix it. Dictionaries hide a little of that from us. I like to be in charge of my programs. But again, that's just me. Tuples to next. Thanks for watching. Visit the website when you get a chance. And please subscribe to the channel. There's more stuff coming every week. We'll see you next video. Take care.